Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Osman. In this week's episode, downtown Deland nabs a national honor. Edgewater is digging in on the state's first sun trail. And the Volusia County and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. I hope you stay tuned. Hosting over 50 events a year, residents and visitors alike know that Deland boasts an active day, with the county seat being selected as the winner of America's Main Streets contest. Votes were cast by the public. The top 10 nominees were then reviewed by several judges who ultimately decided the winner.
You know, when they see our story or hear our story that we were like 50% occupancy, you know, when Main Street came to Deland, and now we're at virtually 100%. Downtown, and then just the outpouring of the community spirit and the things like that, and they recognize that just in researching Deland and you know, coming up with comparing us to the other towns. While
the newest honor is encouraging, it is not the first recognition for downtown Deland. The community was the sole Main Street in Florida from 1999 to 2003 and won the Orlando Sentinel's Best Other Downtown in 2013. Main Street Deland will receive $25,000 from Independent We Stand, the contest organizer, as well as $1,000 in steel outdoor power equipment, a year of marketing support from Snap Retail, and $500 from both Do It Best Corp and PPG Pittsburgh Paints.
Downtown Deland has a variety of small businesses. We've got a very, very strong restaurant core. And that is really our strength. But we also have some of the neatest little mom and pop stores that you'll see, and you'll get, you know, some hippie jewelry or some vinyl records, or, you know, the yogurt, or you know, some neat dress shops and things. So at a bookstore, you know, small town bookstore. So we got all these things going on that make downtown Deland a neat place just to walk around and go in the stores and buy those kind of special gifts that you're not going to find at the big box stores. You're not going to find them at the chain stores. If you want something special, you come downtown Deland.
Main Street Deland is working with Independent We Stand on a Main Streets Make Us Better event that will take place July 1st as part of Deland's Firecracker Festival. Water conservation is taking on an even greater importance as Volusia County continues to experience dry conditions. The St. Johns River Water Management District recently issued a water shortage warning order for Volusia County and 17 other counties because of below average rainfall and in anticipation of a prolonged drought. Residents and businesses are encouraged to reduce their water use and to conserve water.
What we do is we look back at the last 12 months of rainfall, and right now we're at a 17-inch deficit, and that's out of 53 inches. So that's roughly about 35% of the water or rainfall that we haven't gotten to replenish both our natural resources and our aquifer that we pump out of for drinking water. So it's a pretty dire situation. Every day when people wake up, they should be looking to conserve water outside and inside their homes. And for instance, instead of letting the water run while you're shaving, put some water in the basin and just rinse your razor off there. Same thing with the brushing of your teeth. You know, just get your toothbrush wet, turn the water off, brush your teeth, and then rinse it out. You don't need to leave the water running. So, you know, there's a lot of different hints, including not running your dishwasher or your clothes washer, unless they're full to capacity. They're much more efficient when there's a full load in either one of those two devices than if you have a partial load.
Volusia County has year-round watering restrictions to help conserve water. During daylight savings time, which ends November 5th, residents may water their lawns twice a week. For more information on watering restrictions and water conservation, please visit volusia.org/water-conservation.
Every day, Florida's courageous first responders work together to keep Florida safe during all types of hazards, including wildfires near homes and communities. Florida's first responders are asking for your help to increase safety and accessibility during wildfires with 3 easy steps. create a clean, fire-resistant space around the home. Make a family evacuation plan and evacuate early when wildfire is near. For more, visit floridaforestservice.com or wildlandfirersg.org.
Water is everywhere in Volusia County, whether it's the lake, the river, the ocean, or even a backyard pool. And during the hot summer months, it's a great place to have fun and cool off. But it also has its share of dangers. Dr. Holly Smith has the details in this week's Community Health Matters.
Summer vacation is underway. That means families are heading to water. It's not difficult to find here in Volusia County. We're surrounded by it with the ocean, lakes, and springs, more than 1,000 commercial swimming pools, and more than 28,000 residential pools. All that water is beautiful and a great source of recreation. It's also a danger, especially
in Volusia County. We had between 2013 and 2015 10 toddler drownings in Volusia County, and that's much higher than the state rate. That's also the age group that has the highest.
Since 2003, nearly 74% of the toddlers who drowned were white. Why is that? Well, it's a combination of things. Public health officials say it could be related to greater access to swimming pools, or here in Volusia County, the majority racial segment is white. Since pools are the source of most of those toddler drownings, much of the water safety education is geared toward families with small supervision, barriers, learn CPR. That first layer, supervision, it's the most important. For example, if you're having a party and there's alcohol involved, have a designated water watcher who is not drinking and is supervising the kids in the pool.
When we're out in the community, especially when we're doing pool inspections, we hear a lot about near drowning experiences, similar to what we had talked about earlier, where everybody's standing around the pool and no one notices the child slip under, because drowning is a silent event. So even though you have a large gathering with many people around the pool, no one is a designated water watcher. No one is directed to actively watch that child. And so everyone thinks everyone else was responsible, and yet within a group of people, someone drowns or has a near drowning experience. And it's so important to have that designated water watcher to actively supervise the children in the pool.
The second layer of protection is barriers. These are things to keep children from getting to the pool without adult supervision. For residential pools built since October 1st of 2000, state law requires one of 4 safety measures. Now, this commercial pool uses a self-closing and self-locking gate. It works fine here because the pool is so far away from the apartment. In addition to a barrier around the pool, pool owners may use an approved